everyone, and welcome to episode 154, I believe, of the Giddy Knits podcast. As always, I am Helen and I am coming to you from Dundee in Scotland. And this is my crafty podcast where I chat about all of the crafting projects that I have been working on since the last episode. So hello and welcome back. Welcome back, as always, to my wonderful viewers who come and check out the podcast every time I upload an episode. Thank you for always being here. And hello to anyone that is new and might be checking out the episode for the first time. I hope you enjoy it. I would ask that if you are watching and you enjoy this episode, then please give me the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up thingy underneath the video, because that is really helpful and helps my videos a lot. So yeah, hello and welcome. So today is February the 26th. By the time you see this, it might be a few days later because editing and uploading and all of that kind of thing. But it is currently Wednesday. It is currently February the 26th. And I have stuff to show you. I will say quickly, because otherwise I will forget, for anyone that is new, as I said, I am Helen and I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns, which is a hand-dyed yarn business. And details to where you can find me everywhere else on the internet, as well as show notes for the episode, including links to any of the patterns I talk about and details of other small businesses that I talk about and things like that, as well as all the details about all of our Makealongs and everything like that can be found in the description box, which is underneath the video on YouTube. I think that's everything. First off, a little apology. I am so sorry about the state of my hands. I did think to myself, oh, I'll put some I have like, what are they called? They're not called nail stickers. I call them nail stickers in my head, but they're like nail stickers, basically. That's what you've seen in the last few episodes where my nails have looked reasonable. I did think to myself, oh, I'll put some of those on for the podcast today so that my hands look better and my nails don't look horrific, but it's not going to hide this, is it? I have been dyeing today. I am in the process of prepping for East Anglia Yarn Festival, which is a yarn festival in Norfolk, in Norwich specifically, in March 15th, 16th, wherever that weekend is. It's that kind of weekend in March. So I am in the process of prepping, which means I've been doing lots and lots of dyeing, and unfortunately this will just take a few days before it comes out. So yeah, you get grubby hands today, I'm afraid. Not much I can do about it because it just stains. Anyway, I'm going to have a sip of tea and slow myself down slightly. What have I got for you today? So as always, we'll start off with a quick announcement section. I have got a finished object. I'm then going into my what's in the basket section, and the basket this week has had a bit of a refresh. So we have a little bit of a change of projects in there for you. I've then got a little bit of Yarny Goodness to share, and I will finish up the episode, as I always do, with a bit of shop news. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? I feel like I've missed something out of my intro, but hopefully it wasn't anything important. Announcement. I just wanted to mention our Makealongs. We have quite a lot of Makealongs running at the moment. We have the Giddy Yarns Makealong, which is my ongoing year-long, forever Makealong. Basically, any project that you finish that uses at least 50% of my yarns, so at least 50% of Giddy Yarns, can be entered to be in with the chance of winning prizes. You can enter that giveaway on Ravelry and in our Discord group. I draw prizes quarterly. So the next prize draw will be at the end of March, well, beginning of April probably. And yeah, doesn't matter when you started it, doesn't matter how long you've had the yarn, nothing matters like that. Just as you finish it, when you finish it, stick a photo in one of those threads and I will randomly draw winners from those threads at the end of March, basically. So that is that one. We then also have another year-long Makealong, and that is our bingo crafting challenge. So we have these wonderful bingo boards that I designed. This one is mine, and you can fill your bingo board in with 9 little challenges to yourself across all your crafting goals and try and complete them through the year. We have a wonderful chat group over in Discord where everyone is chatting about their projects and things like that. And then at the end of the year, I will draw winners from the threads yeah, I'm not drawing winners for people who have completed all their goals in particular, because this is meant to be quite a fun, light-hearted make-along. It's meant to just encourage us to kind of think about our crafting and motivate ourselves a little bit, but there is no pressure. So you will still be in a chance of you will still be in with a chance of winning a prize, as long as you have just chatted, basically, and as long as you've shared your progress, as long as you've shared your projects, like all of those kinds of things will count towards entries for prizes. And then finally, we have our Friends That Grimble Together Make-Along, which I am co-hosting along with Laura from the Lonely Knitter podcast and Folk Yarn Studios. And we are having a little gnome knit-along, basically. So any patterns by Sarah of Imagined Landscapes can be counted to enter into this knit-along. And the idea is, well, we are planning to knit 8 gnomes this year. So we started in January and we're running through until the end of October. And the idea is between that time, you knit kind of 8 gnomes. But we will be drawing prizes in May and we will be drawing prizes in November from our Discord groups. There are threads in the Discord groups. And you don't have to have knit 8 gnomes. If you've knit 1 gnome and you've put a picture of it in, that will be an entry, basically. But the more gnomes you knit, the more gnomes you knit, the more chances you have of winning prizes. I think that's everything, hopefully. So they are our make-alongs. Yeah, they are our make-alongs. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about make-alongs. I don't think so. But yeah, I am really enjoying our make-alongs this year. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of chat in the Discord group and yeah, it's great fun. So with that done, let's move on to my finished object. And having just talked about the Friends That Grimble Together make-along, I have another finished gnome. I finished Nori. So Nori is one of the gnomes from the Gnomes of Grimblewood book by Sarah Shearer. I have got some of these now, so I haven't put them on the website. I'm going to be taking them to East Anglia, and then after that I will work out how I put them on the website. But I have now I need to double check that, because books are not a product that you charge VAT on, so I need to work out whether I still have to pay VAT when I sell them. I don't know. That'll be a question for my accountant, won't it? Anyway, I have some of these books and they will be coming to East Anglia with me, and then they will be available on the website, basically. But this is the Gnomes of Grimblewood book by Sarah Shearer, and Nori is one of the gnomes from this book. I used one of my own yarn kits for this. So this is the Sky Gnome kit, which was specifically designed with gnomes like Nori in mind, that are 3-colour gnomes. And I'm really, really happy with it. Why does Nori have gnomes on her beard? I don't know, but they're fun, so why not? My Nori also has one foot slightly bigger than the other because I stuffed it slightly more than the other one, I think. But who cares? Gnomes are meant to be a little bit wonky and a little bit fun. So yeah, that is actually my second gnome of the year finished. So I am ahead with our Gnomes of Grimblewood challenge. But I wanted to get Nori done before East Anglia, because I'm going to be bringing some of these kits to East Anglia and she will make a good little sample. Can we pop her somewhere where you will be able to see her? Will she stay sat up there, or is she just going to fall over? I don't think I weighted her quite properly. There we go. You watch, she'll fall over at some point during the podcast. So yeah, that is my finished object. That is the only finished object. I really was hoping I would get my socks done, because we've been away and I've had time, but I had a little bit of a spell. Well, while we were away, I didn't pick up my knitting very much, to be completely honest, because I spent quite a lot of time, quite a lot of my downtime I spent reading, which wasn't always very conducive to knitting, but it's fine. So, basket. As I said, the basket which if you are new, this is my whip basket. So basically in this basket, I keep all of the active projects that I am currently working on, and I'm really trying to kind of keep it refreshed this year. And if I go through a spell where there's projects in the basket that I'm not working on, or I start new things, but I haven't taken things out of the basket and it's overflowing, then that's the stage I was at, then I am having a little bit of a clear out, not getting rid of those projects, but just tucking them away in a cupboard until my kind of passion for them reignites, if that makes sense. So we have had a little bit of an update to the basket. So I think there are 3 new projects in there that you haven't seen before, but we'll start with the ones that you have seen. And actually, going back to my basket plan, the plan for me with this basket was that I would have 6 projects in there at any one time. So one of those is going to be a pair of socks, one of those is going to be my cross stitch, one of them is going to be a blanket, one of them is going to be a gnome, and one of them is going to be a garment. And then the 6th, that didn't add up. Somehow I got to 6, but I'm obviously skipped a finger. And then the 6th project will be another project. So usually something small and quick and yeah, just like another little project to pick up when I fancy something different. So we'll start with the socks. My socks currently are still the Christmas cracker socks, and yes, I'm still using a Christmas project bag. Now, I am a strong believer in Christmas project bags all year round, but they have to contain festive projects. So this was my Christmas Eve cast on, and it's using Christmas yarn, so therefore it can stay in a Christmas project bag throughout the whole year because it is a festive project. And there is one other that is in a Christmas project bag as well, but you will see that in a minute. But yeah, that is my belief with Christmas project bags. So these are the Christmas cracker socks, which is a pattern by Twinset and Pearl. I've adapted the pattern slightly because I have a tendency to do that. I like a 68 stitch sock for me. It just seems to fit better, and most patterns are written for 64 or 72. So when I knit a pattern sock as opposed to a plain or vanilla sock, I often have to adapt the pattern so that it works with the number of stitches that I want to use. So with the Christmas cracker socks, the pattern is designed to go all the way around the leg, but I have just done it on the front of the leg. I've done the 64 stitch version, and then I've just added an extra knit stitch on either side of the pattern so that it gives me the right number of stitches to work my 68 stitch sock, basically. So that's that. So the yarn I am using is from Hannah at the Corner of Craft. It is so Chromatic Yarns. It is the Oh Christmas Drag colourway. And as I said, this was my Christmas Eve cast on. And this is a wonderful example of how your gauge can really affect how the yarn knits up. I am thoroughly enjoying this, but yes, you can definitely see how my gauge has affected the way that this yarn has knit up and the way that the colour is pooling. So yeah, it's really, really, really interesting to see the difference. So yeah, these are the socks. I am at the point, this is the pattern section. Oh, that's the other change I did. I did 1.5 repeats of the pattern instead of 3 repeats of the pattern, I think. I can't remember what the suggested, it might be 2.5. Anyway, I did less repeats of the pattern because that's just what I wanted on the leg of my sock. I just wanted it on the top here. And both of these, which I am knitting concurrently, I am being good, that is my goal this year with socks. Both of these are now at the point where they are ready for the heel to go in. Now, you might remember, here's a story for you. You might remember that I lost the contrast mini for this yarn. So it originally came, where's the yarn? Here's the yarn caked up. It originally came with a bright pink contrast mini, and I caked it up when I caked the yarn up, and I thought I put it aside with everything, and I got home and I couldn't find it, and this was just before we were going away for Christmas. And I even came back to the studio because my ball winder and Swift are at the studio, so I caked it up at the studio. I even came back to the studio, hunted around the studio, checked outside to make sure I didn't drop it on the way to the car or anything like that. Could not find it anywhere. And then the other day, I can't even remember what we were doing or why I was doing something different in the boot. I think I'd transported a few, like more stuff than I normally would in the boot. And all of a sudden, so something fell over in the boot of the car when I was driving. So I'd heard like a rattle and thought, oh, what's that? It was nothing drastic. It was just a bottle of drink. But when I parked the car up, I thought, oh, I'll just check what that rattle was. And I opened the boot to find in the middle of the boot the missing mini. So I don't know, it must have fallen out of my bag and got itself tucked in a corner of the boot where I couldn't see it. And when this bottle fell over, it obviously kind of knocked it out and just kind of, exposed it somehow. I mean, I've been using my boot. This is like nearly 2 months. 2 months this has been missing and it just randomly showed up in my boot. But anyway, I now have the mini, so that is the next job, is to put the heels into these socks, which is really good. I also now have a spare pink mini that I dug out from all of my random mini skeins. It's not bad. It's not a bad colour match, I have to say. This one is slightly more purpley pink than this one, but it's not a bad colour match. But I do now have a random mini that I caked up because I'd lost one. But oh well, it'll get used in another pair of socks at some point in the future. But yes, Christmas cracker socks are slowly coming along. I think I need an evening just to sit down and get both those heels in, and then it'll be pretty quick because they'll just be vanilla socks and they'll be fairly quick to get off the needles, which would be good. Okay, let's go cross stitch next because I have made some progress on my cross stitch. It will look different once again because we have moved the hoop. So I think last time I showed this to you, let's tell you what it is first, shall we? So this is the Winter Wonderland cross stitch from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It was a stitch along from a couple of years ago, a mystery stitch along from a couple of years ago, and I've been working on it for a while. I am a slow cross stitcher, but I enjoy it. But yeah, I think last time I showed you, I was just finishing off these buildings here. So these have all been finished. I've put in some more of the snow and things like that. I have done this little mountain scene. I really enjoyed doing this little mountain scene. It was really, really fun. And as you can see, I've just started on a couple of other little bits. So this is a snowboard and there will be a little person on top of it. And this is the roof and possibly a window. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but this is the roof of another little building which will go there. I've also filled in a little bit more of the blue around the Christmas tree, the boring bit. I've also filled in a little bit more of that as well. But yeah, it is coming along, definitely. My goal with this really is to get it finished this year. I would really like to do that. So I am trying to kind of pick it up and get a little bit done every week or so. But as I said, I'm a slow cross stitcher. This was pretty much an entire day's work. I spent most of the day sat and cross stitching, like any time I had in that day crafting, I spent doing cross stitch, and that's kind of how far I got. But progress is slowly being made. Right, next thing, blanket. So I have taken out of the box, out of the basket, I have taken out my habitation throw just to have a little break from it for a little bit because I got a little bit carried away with my sweet shop blanket. The sweet shop blanket is what is still in the bag. So yeah, this is the one. If you don't want to see the colours for the sweet shop blanket, because I am using my sweet shop minis. So this is all of the January minis. There are none of the February ones. So if you've already had your January ones and you don't mind seeing them knit up, then that is fine. But if you don't want to see them, then skip to the timestamp that I will stick here. Hopefully I will remember to do that. But yeah, look, I've got up to date. So this is like a top edge basically. But I am up to date. So I've got all of the January minis in. I have literally today, I have skeined up all of the February minis, and I have set aside mine to be caked up so that I can carry on with the blanket. But that means I'm up to date because I don't have the rest of the next lot of minis. So that's quite exciting for me to be up to date with something. But I'm really happy with how this worked out. I love how you've got a few squares that are more dramatic, and then there are a couple of squares that are subtler. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this is working out, and I'm excited to get next month's minis in and to see how they work with the colours and things like that. I think last time I showed it to you I'd just done these 2 squares, and then I've now done these 3 that have got the little stitch markers on them because I thought I'd pop little progress keepers on when I finish a square so that you can kind of keep track a little bit of the progress that we've made in between episodes. So yeah, that is that one. I'm really happy with how that's come out. As I said before, I really like the pattern. I was a bit worried about the picking up stitches and the short rows and what that was going to be like, but she uses German short rows, which are what I use for heels in socks, so it was a really kind of easy to pick up kind of pattern for me. So yeah, a lovely blanket. I'm really enjoying it. I'm sure at some point it will get put aside because I'll want to work on another blanket, because that's just how things work with me. But while I've got the motivation and the excitement, I will make the most of it. Right, on to things you haven't seen yet. After a quick slurp of tea. So I showed you I showed you last time some minis. I was talking about the fact that I wanted to start a cowl for Arthur using a little 5-gram advent swap that I did with a lovely group of friends of mine, and I have done so. So I have started, as I said, I used the numbers from the Sweet Shop cowl, so I cast on however many stitches that said, and then I've just gone with it from there. I'm not using the pattern, I'm just knitting it plain. But basically I just knit, and I knit rib for the first colour, and then once that ran out I just started knitting stocking stitch in the round, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours so far. I am on to the 6th colour, and I'm just really enjoying it. I love a little round and round project, a little kind of pick it up and go. I knit on this when I played D&D at the weekend with my sister, and yeah, it's a really good kind of mindless, simple project. If I remember to get my book stand out, it's one that works quite well for knitting and reading as well. I don't read as much on my Kindle as I used to. I read more physical books nowadays, which is a bit of a pain because when I was reading on my Kindle, reading and knitting was super easy and happened all the time. But now I'm reading a lot more paperbacks and things like that. It doesn't quite happen as much, but yeah. I don't really know the solution to that. I do have a book stand that works beautifully with hardback books, and it's okay with paperback books. It just depends on the size and the thickness of the paperback book. But yeah, that is that one so far. I can't tell you what these yarns are because I don't have a clue, but it is really fun. And I am not doing any kind of colour management or anything. I'm just, well, I guess I kind of am. But basically when I get to the end of a colour, I just kind of dig into the bag, I pull one out and I go, does that work next? Nah, no it doesn't. What about that one? Oh yeah, that'll work. That's kind of what I've been doing, basically. So yeah, that's how we're going. And it's coming along nicely. I think I am going to count this as an Advent project because it was an Advent swap. And I've got, on my bingo board this year, I want to complete 2 Advent projects. And yeah. So I'm hoping I can count this one towards that, as it was an Advent swap with friends. So it could count towards being one of those Advent projects. We will see how the year goes. If I manage to complete 2 proper Advent projects, then fine. We'll call this 3. But I think I'm going to make it count towards because I'm a little bit worried about completing bigger Advent projects. Anyway. I'm rambling now. What's next? Okay, our next project is another gnome. I think I showed you, did I show you the yarn? I'd caked up the yarn for this last time, I think. And yeah, so I am knitting a gnome with my Spice gnome set, which was one of Valentine's colourways. I don't think I've got any of this kit left. It was really popular, but I am hoping to dye it to take to East Anglia. I do have some of the Spice colourway on. What have I got it on? I've got it on sock sets, I've got it on 100-gram skeins, I've got it on boucle. Oh, I've got it on all of the bases. There's a little bit left of all of the bases apart from the gnome kit, basically. But yeah, those are the 3 colours. And I have picked Nicole, again from the Gnomes of Grimblewood book. So Nicole is the cabled gnome. See if I can find the page with the picture. So Nicole is the cabled gnome. This is what Nicole looks like. Now, I am going to be playing a little bit of yarn chicken because it says that Nicole needs 26 grams, I think. I can't find the chart with all the information. It says she needs 26 grams of the colour A, which is the Spice colour and the hat. And I obviously only have 20 grams, but I am a tight knitter and often you get a little bit of leeway in terms of meterage. And I suspect that the yarn amount given has also given a little bit of leeway. So we're going to hope for the best. But worst case scenario, my plan is that the top of the hat will just have like a little peak of a different colour. That's what's going to happen. But yeah, I haven't got very far because the cabling and everything takes, and it's quite a big gnome. Like I cast on the same number of stitches as I would for a sock. So yeah, it is quite a big gnome. But this is how we're looking so far. We have just started the cables on the hat. And yeah, we're getting there. I am suspecting this might not be finished for East Anglia. We will see. I will do my best to get this finished for East Anglia. I don't think she's particularly complicated beyond the cabled hat. Where's she gone? Yeah, beyond the cabled hat, there you go, I'll hold the picture up again. Beyond the cabled hat, it's a very simple body. She just has arms and a nose and the beard. Although the beard looks quite complicated, I've knitted this type of beard before. Basically, it's just a garter stitch beard and then you unravel it. And it's all explained how you do that. So again, it's a simple beard to knit. It's just effective once you've unraveled it. So yeah, body, hands and beard and nose, that will all be quite quick. It's just getting through this cabled hat, basically. But yeah, I'm hoping that she will come with me to East Anglia. But my worst case scenario, she can just sit there as a work in progress and you can still see the yarns, hopefully. So yeah, that is another gnome in progress. And then the final new project, which I am very excited about and has actually grown very quickly, is a new garment project. So I have had this yarn, caked up for absolutely years with this project in mind. And this is my yarn. This colourway is Don't Leave the Path, which is one of my Hobbit colourways, and this colourway is Fern on, this is a Surrey alpaca fluff. And it's absolutely lovely. I've had this combination put aside for years with the plan to make a lento jumper, which is a pattern by Joanna, hang on a second, it does tell me on the pattern, Joanna Haitala. It was published in one of the Lane magazines. And I cast it on the other day. This has literally had 2 evenings of work. One of those evenings, I cast it on, knit the rib, separated, did put in the stitch markers for the sleeves, realised I had 10 too many stitches, despite the fact that I had already I'd counted the cast on twice. I obviously counted wrong. I checked the pattern and the pattern was fine. It wasn't the pattern, it was me. I'd cast on too many stitches. So I frogged that and then I cast on again and re-knit the rib one evening. And then the second afternoon and evening, I knit the rest. And look, it's actually coming on so quickly. And I am absolutely loving it. There are so many things that I want to say about this pattern. So first off, I've changed the rib slightly. So you're supposed to have a folded rib. So you're supposed to start with a provisional cast on, knit double the length of rib, fold it, and then join it and have a folded rib and go from there. I didn't want to do that. I've never got on very well with provisional cast on. So I've just gone for a normal rib. I just knit half the length. But the other things I love are the short rows for the back are done with like German short rows with a double stitch short row. So I was like, oh, this is nice because I don't have to look up and remember how to do a wrap and turn or any of the other style of short rows that I don't remember and always have to look up a tutorial video for. And then the increases for the sleeves are knit front and back, which made me happy because I can never remember which is a make one left and a make one right. I can never get it right. So yeah, I was very, very happy to discover they were knit front and backs because that is my favorite type of increase. So it's making me very, very, very happy. I am loving the color. I am loving the texture of it. So it's quite a loose gauge. So although it's 4-ply and fluff held together, I'm knitting it on, well, the pattern says 6mm needles, but as I've mentioned numerous times, I am a very tight knitter. So I am knitting it on 6.5mm needles. I did check my gauge, well, I didn't do a gauge swatch, but I did check my gauge last night, my like unblocked gauge last night. The pattern says you should have 15 stitches for 4 inches. I'm currently sitting at 17 stitches for 4 inches, but the 15 stitches for 4 inches is the blocked gauge. This obviously isn't blocked. I feel like being 2 stitches out at this point across 4 inches is not a big issue because it isn't blocked. And the garment is designed with 5 inches of positive ease. So although it's coming up a little bit smaller at the moment, it will grow with blocking and I've got a little bit of leeway with the ease. So I feel like that should be okay. It seems about right. So yeah, that is my lento and the progress that I am making on that. So yeah, so far, absolutely would 100% recommend the pattern. It's knitting up very fast, I think because it's at such a loose gauge, and I guess it is near enough a DK as well with the fluff and the fluff and the lace, no, the fluff and the 4-ply held together. But yeah, really excited about this. I already want to wear it. I'm like, can I just put it on now and be cozy? And yeah, I love it. Love the colour, love everything about it. Very excited. That is it though. That is all my projects. So I do have a little bit of Yarny Goodness to share. Although the basket with the Yarny Goodness is on the floor. I've also now got a bit of fluff caught on my lip. Yes, I have a little bit of Yarny Goodness. Distractions. So first off, my February yarn club from The Lonely Knitter has arrived. So if you're waiting on yours or you haven't seen it, then just skip this section. But this is the Magical Worlds yarn club. I am going for a sock set each month, and February's colourway was the Tower. And this is the colourway. This is so, so fun. These are definitely going to become socks, I think, in the future. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Laura has done such a good job. I really feel like she's found her dyeing style, and every time I get one of her colourways over the last, since she's kind of come back to dyeing this year, I look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Laura colourway. Absolutely beautiful. So that is that one. And then the other yarn I've got is not a club colourway. It is something that I saw while I was scrolling on Instagram and went, oh, that's pretty, I want it. And that is this gorgeous bundle of minis from Ellie at Craft House Magic. So this is, I think this was, oh yeah, her February colour of the month was these 5 colours. And they are Unchained Melody is the name of the set. My Love, My Darling, I Need Your Love, Lonely River Flows, Are You Still Mine? Oh, and I think Unchained Melody was the main colour, because that's the 5 colours. Anyway, they were just so pretty, absolutely gorgeous, and I figured I could do some scrappy socks with them, or a hat or some mitts or something. I want to use them in like a scrappy project together. Maybe some mitts or a hat or something like that. They were just so pretty that I couldn't resist. So yeah, that is that one. And that is everything. That is all the Yarny Goodness. So we will finish off quickly with a little bit of shop news. I don't have anything physical to show you. I'm going to have one more sip of tea before it goes completely cold. Yeah, it's pretty much there. But the main thing, I'm going to shuffle this way a little bit. The main thing I wanted to show you is that I have currently got pre-orders live for Easter treat boxes. So if you've had my Halloween treat box or my Christmas Eve cast on box in the past, I love putting together treat boxes, absolutely love it. It's so much fun. And I haven't done an Easter one in a couple of years just because the timing of Easter has been a nightmare. But Easter is a little bit later this year, which has given me a little bit of leeway and a little bit more time. So I am once again doing an Easter treat box. So the colours in the image here will give you a rough idea of what I'm kind of planning yarn-wise in terms of the colours of the yarn. And yeah, you can choose across all of my yarn bases on either 100 gram skeins or sock sets, because that's kind of how I always do these kinds of things. And you can either choose to have treats included or not included. The treats generally they vary basically, but usually there is a hot chocolate, some kind of sweet treat, and then there'll be something else, whether that is, so in previous years we've had like, I'm trying to think what we've had in previous years, bookmarks, stickers, what else have we done? At Christmas we had like a pin badge, we had a wax melt, we had a soap from a local soap company, all kinds of different things, and occasionally there'll be little notions and things like that. I haven't settled on the extras yet because I'm just waiting to get numbers, because what I can order will depend on how many boxes I've got to fulfill basically, because some companies have larger order minimums than others, and yeah, basically that's why I haven't sorted it out yet. But pre-orders are open until the end of Sunday. So the end of Sunday, the 2nd of March. I will officially Monday the 3rd, because I will close them when I come into the studio on the Monday morning, basically. And then they will ship out at the end of March. That's the plan. So yeah, pre-orders are open. So if you would like a little treat for Easter, then get your pre-order in. I am so excited for dyeing this colourway because this colour palette just speaks to me so much at the moment, and I am, yeah, very excited to put together some yarn in these colours. Right, what else? I mentioned on the last episode that I was going to be having a gnome kit restock. That isn't happening on the website now until after East Anglia. I just ran out of time, in all honesty. And I want to take gnome kits to East Anglia. So I am dyeing up, well, I have dyed up a whole host of gnome kits. I've dyed up all of the ones that I dyed for Nana. I've dyed up all of the kits that I dyed originally for Nori, but I've also got a couple of other kits as well that I've dyed for previous gnomes. And I will be taking them to East Anglia, but I have dyed more than enough that I will also have some to go on the website once I'm back from East Anglia. So end of March kind of time, there will be a big gnome kit restock. And if you're coming to East Anglia, I will have gnome kits. Why can't I say it today? I will have gnome kits with me at East Anglia as well. And then the last thing is just to say that clubs. March's clubs, if you haven't subscribed, and you're just ordering monthly, then March's clubs will be open on the 1st of March, probably in the morning. I need to sort the listings out, and I just need to work out when I've set them to go live, but they will probably go live Monday morning-ish. I will announce them on social media. And yeah, they're always open from the 1st to the 8th of March. Well, the 1st to the 8th of each month they are open as a minimum. Occasionally I leave it open a few extra days depending on where the weekend falls, but they're always open from the 1st to the 8th of each month. And it says this in the listing, but I have had a few emails this month asking me when clubs will ship. So I will just say as well, my clubs always ship out at the end of the month, and they have done for, my goodness, the last goodness knows how many years. But yeah, they will always ship by the end of the month that you order them in. So February's club will ship at the end of February. And it does say that in all of the listings as well. So if you're not sure, then yeah, just either check the listing or that's when they ship, basically. So yeah, that is that. I think that's everything in that case for this episode. Yeah, I think that is everything. So if you've made it to the end of the episode, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you are new and you haven't subscribed and you like what you've seen, then please consider hitting the subscribe button. I'm pointing to the places. I feel like, is the like button here and the subscribe button over here on YouTube? I can't remember. Anyway, if you have enjoyed what you're watching and you aren't already subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button, because you will then get notified when I put up new videos. And if you have got to the end of this video, I am desperately looking around trying to come up with an idea because I didn't think this through in advance. I've got an idea. If you have got to the end of this video, leave me a cup of tea emoji, because I have thoroughly enjoyed this cup of tea. I have had a busy day dyeing yarn, and this is only my second cup of tea of the day, which is shocking considering it is now nearly 4 o'clock. So yeah, leave me the cup of tea emoji, and I will see you all very soon for another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.